Hello, guys. Welcome to Study IQ. I'm Safir, and in this session, we are going to continue our discussion on modern India. So, we have actually started off with the decline of Mughals, and that was the first session that we have done with respect to modern India. That's where the modern history starts. So, we discussed about the decline of Mughals. And now, in this session, we are actually going to discuss about the beginning of British administration. So we will be discussing about Lord Warren Hastings today, and then we will be discussing about Cornwallis and all important events happened during each of these Governor General's time. We will be covering, in that chronological order, so that it will give you a very good clarity with respect to modern India. But guys, in the previous session, we have discussed about decline of Mughals, and we have discussed about the administrative structure and the reasons for decline of Mughals, various reasons, the military reason, the peasant revolts, and the religious reasons, the jizya tax, and everything we have covered, right? But at the same time, I've told you, I will also be discussing about the administrative structure of Marathas, the administrative structure of Mysore. And in case if you are going to get a comparative analysis on these administrative setup of Mughals versus Marathas or Mughals versus Mysore, you will be able to answer. So that part, I'm keeping it away. I will be doing it after some time because that is more important when it comes to your mains. Okay, so here I'll be starting with the beginning of British administration. So for that, I'll be starting with Regulating Act of 1773. So if you see, a kind of systematic administration actually happened from Regulating Act of 1773. So obviously, if you see this, it is to regulate. Now the question is, who is going to regulate whom, right? So through Regulating Act of 1773, it is crystal clear this is going to be a kind of regulation. Now the question is, who is going to regulate whom? So it is the East India Company who's going to be regulated by the Crown or the British Parliament. So the British Parliament is going to regulate the activities of East India Company in India. Okay, so the act was passed by the Parliament to regulate the affairs of East India Company in India. So I'll be discussing about various provisions. These I've taken from Lakshmikant, exactly the same thing. But the most important points I'll discuss, and then we will come to these provisions as well. So if you see, guys, till then, there were three important presidencies like Bombay, and then Bengal, and then Madras. So these three important presidencies, and each of these are actually headed by governors, right? So governor of Bombay, governor of Madras, and governor of Bengal. So now what is actually going to happen in this act is the governor of Bengal become Governor General of Bengal. So you can see here for the first time, the Governor General of Bengal post was created. Now remember, others remain the same, Governor of Madras and Governor of Bombay. Now here you see Governor General. So obviously you may start thinking that Governor General is going to be superior over the others. Okay, if you see technically that superiority is there, but I need to divide things with respect to administration in two dimensions, like internal aspect and the external matters, right? When it comes to the internal matters, like Bombay, their administration, Madras, their administration, Bengal, their administration, each of these are independent. That means when it comes to internal matters, the governors of each of these have their own say and their own control, and nobody can interfere in that. So Governor General don't have any superiority when it comes to the internal matters of Madras and Bombay. But when it comes to external matters, now what do you mean by external matters? Like the war policy, right? The peace treaty, etc., that you have signed with the other states, so other princely states, etc. So when it comes to external matters, if there is any difference of opinion between the governors of each of these provinces and the governor general, then the governor general will have the final say. And in fact, exactly the same thing happened when it comes to Bombay. And after the Maratha war, Bombay have signed the treaty with Marathas, the governor of Bombay. And what happened is Warren Hastings came to Bombay and annulled the treaty. So when the Warren Hastings went back, in fact, Warren Hastings was the first governor general of Bengal. So I'll be talking about that. I'll be coming to Warren Hastings. When he went back, the governor of Bombay signed the pact again. But obviously, Warren Hastings again annulled the treaty, and the final law was with the Governor General, because Governor General have that power when it comes to external aspect. So the point is very clear. Is there any superiority or inferiority if you ask me? Yes. But more specifically, if you ask me, is there any superiority, inferiority when it comes to their own area, internal aspect? No. Only in external matters. That too, if there is a difference of opinion, that the Governor General will have the final say. So my first point here is the Governor General of Bengal post was created. And who was the first Governor General of Bengal? The governor at that point of time in Bengal was Warren Hastings. Obviously, he became the Governor General of Bengal. So I'll be just writing the name Warren Hastings, Lord Warren Hastings. So it is there anyway. Lord Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of Bengal. Now, it also created Executive Council of 4 members, but I cannot see the 4 members here, which is mentioned in your Lakshmikant. But since anyway, you have discussed about Warren Hastings, who was the first Governor General. So anything and everything which is coming for the first time is going to be very important, especially when it comes to your prelims, because that's facts, right? That facts is very important. Not each and every facts, these facts are very important because these are some significant facts. Okay, I will divide facts in different categories. So these are very important or significant facts. So let's look into these 4 members also. I'll just write it down. You can just note it down because I have not seen that names in normally textbooks. So guys, the 4 members are Richard Barwell, Philip Francis, and then George Monson, okay, and then John Clavering. So you should be very careful with these names. They can ask you who among the following were the members of the first Executive Council. You can consider it as like very, very important body. So it's like the first cabinet. Okay, so because they are going to take the decisions, and this Executive Council along with the Governor General is going to take the decision. So this is like the first cabinet. So Richard Barwell, Philip Francis, George Monson, and John Clavering, along with Warren Hastings. So it's like Governor General of Bengal plus 4 members. So this is the Executive Council which is going to take the decisions. And how the decisions are taken. See, till then, governors can take independent decision. But now, as I have told you, it is basically to regulate. So this is how the East India Company or the governor is the head of the company actually. So who is this Governor General? Who will be appointing the Governor General? Guys, it's just like the chairman of the company or the managing director of the company. It is the owner of the company or it is the head of the company. So who will be appointing the head? Is it the government? No, it is a company. So Governor General here is going to be appointed by the company. How about the 4 members? So if Governor General is appointed by the company, you're going to regulate the company. So you are supposed to have a control over the Governor General. So these 4 members are actually going to control. And these 4 members are appointed by the Crown or the Parliament. Okay. So remember the appointment of these 5 members. Governor General is appointed by the company because he's the head of the company. And the 4 members are appointed by the Crown. Okay. So I hope that appointment part is clear. Now the decisions has to be taken on the basis of majority. Till then, governor can take any decision, but that's not the case now. It has to be based on majority. So now Governor General plus 4 are there. That means total 5 is there. So decision need to be taken means it should be 3 out of 5. That means if the governor have to implement some decision, he need the support of 2. So that's how you will be getting the majority. And in fact, this became one of the biggest headache or the problem for Mr. Warren Hastings at that point of time, because you are not able to get the majority. You at least have to get minimum 2, right? Along with you, then it can be 3. So the problem was these executive members were always against Warren Hastings. And interestingly, the reason was when they came to India, they were not welcomed properly by Warren Hastings. And that's the reason why they're always against Warren Hastings. They were not allowing any of the decision of Warren Hastings to get implemented. So this was one of the most important problem that Warren Hastings faced during his tenure. And this problem is going to be solved in the next act that is going to come in 1784 after 11 years. That's the Pitt's India Act. I'll be talking about Pitt's India Act after some time, but I hope you understood this is one of the problem. Decisions need to be taken on the basis of majority, and Warren Hastings was not able to get that majority that easily. So that became a biggest headache for Warren Hastings, and that's one of the drawback of this act. Okay, so I hope this one is very clear. Apart from that, there are other points also. That is something which you can read, and these are very simple. Just 1 minute, guys. Okay, so the second important point that I want to discuss here is actually a Supreme Court was established, or a Supreme Court has to be established, and the act is in 1773. So in the act, there is a provision that a Supreme Court has to be established. And the Supreme Court was established at Calcutta in 1774. So remember, the act is in 73, and the Supreme Court has to be established, and it got established in 74, where? At Calcutta. Okay, and remember, the Supreme Court and modern day Supreme Court are entirely different. That modern day Supreme Court I'll discuss in detail when we discuss about Government of India Act 1935. There is a provision related to that. But this Supreme Court is for the trial of Europeans, because when they came to India, Indian legal system and European legal system are totally different. In fact, they are poles apart. So they never want their cases to be tried in the Indian legal system or as per the Indian setup. So this Supreme Court, which is going to be established at Calcutta, or which is got established at Calcutta in 1774, is for the trial of Europeans only. And the Chief Justice, the first Chief Justice, obviously we need to know, was Justice Elijah Impe. Okay, so I have discussed about this. The Governor General of Bengal post was created, and appointment of Governor General and the members, and how is it going to be regulated, because the decisions are taken on the basis of majority, and that became the problem. And that problem is going to be solved in 1784. Guys, all these things need to be there in your mind for prelims as well as mains as well. Okay, so then Supreme Court, this is a very specific prelims question. Apart from that, there are other provisions which you can read here. Okay, here it is written that it made the governors of Bombay and Madras presidencies subordinate to Governor General of Bengal. Unlike earlier, when the three presidencies were independent on one another. See, earlier it is completely independent. Now Governor General is superior, but I've made it clear on what aspect he's superior and on what aspect he's not. So here, Supreme Court was established. I've discussed about that. And the Chief Justice name is missing here. I've just mentioned about that as well. Okay, so that's about the regulating act, which I want to discuss, 1773. Other provisions, you can just go through Lakshmikant. That is the same thing that I've taken over there. So the two important points that we have covered, and I hope that is very, very clear. Now, guys, beyond this, what I want to discuss is, see, we will be covering this from both prelims as well as mains point of view. Right, so I'll be discussing about the potential mains question which you can actually expect here. So what mains question you can expect here is, they can ask you a question something like this. Warren Hastings period in history is known as trial and error period. So if you see, Warren Hastings period is from 1773 to 1785. So we will quickly discuss about this period of 1773 to 1785. So guys, see, the question is, Warren Hastings period in history is known as trial and error period. So a lot of experiments have done, a lot of mistakes have happened, and because of that only they have evolved over a period of time. They have realized the mistakes and they were able to change it. And then the next 200 years, close to 200 years, they were there in India, right? So they have done a lot of experiments, like revenue related experiments they have done. So legal related experiments they have done. So I'll be discussing about each of these and how the system have evolved and how it got that centralized system. Everything we will see. But when it comes to Warren Hastings, guys, you can even talk positive about Warren Hastings. You can talk negative about Warren Hastings. Now, let me tell you one thing. Whoever it be in this particular situation, they are bound to make mistake, because you see, he's a business owner, right? So he is the head of the company. He never had a prior administrative experience. So when he came to India and the administration here, he started taking over the administration. So obviously, if you see, he's coming from England, which is a very small country, and Warren Hastings that presidency itself, if you see Bengal comprised of Bengal, Bihar, Orissa. So such a huge territory. If you compare it with England, it is just like this only. So you are coming from here, England, and you are administering now a huge territory, which he never have any administrative experience. Even the Queen of England is having this much area only. But a private company, the head is going to control this much area. So there is an ego problem also between the king, the queen, and the governor general as well. So that is there. That is one thing is there. That is why you can see the regulation and everything which is going on. But at the same time, if you look into this, here there are different types of people. People speak Bengali, people speak Odia, people speak other languages, right? And there are Hindus and there are Muslims and there are, see, the different religion. And within Hindus, again, there are, different caste, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. They have never heard of these things, right? So different religion, different caste, and then different language. So there are issues like regionalism, linguism, and all these are something which you can see here, which you have never seen before. Here, this is completely homogeneous. You speak only one language. You only have one religion. They have never heard of caste system, but that's not the case here. It's so heterogeneous and so much divided, and the division is deeper and getting deeper when you go down the level, especially at the village level, right? So this is going to be a big headache for Warren Hastings. Now, guys, if you need to administer any area, you need to have a control over two aspects. One is the legal system. You need to have a very good control over the system. The other is the most important one, revenue system. So if you look into Indian legal system, there are two types of cases, obviously. There are civil cases and then the criminal cases. When it comes to criminal cases, it is to an extent the laws are almost same, which was set by Mughals, which was partly Islamic and partly local. It was commonly applicable to Hindus as well as Muslims, but with some local variation. But otherwise, it was kind of uniform. When it comes to civil cases, the laws are totally different. From Muslims and Hindus, it is falls apart. For example, if I talk about, let's say, adoption related case, when it comes to Muslims, adoption is not valid, not legal. But in Hindus, adoption is there. That is why you can see when you discuss about doctrine of lapse during Dalhousie time, thus there are certain states where doctrine of lapse is applicable. There are certain states in which it is not applicable. I don't know whether you know that or not. There are three different categories of states. Doctrine of lapse is not applicable in all states. It is selectively applied on different states. Okay, so it was never applicable in Muslim states because already adoption is not legal among Muslims. Secondly, if you come across property related laws, okay, we will discuss about this quickly. When it comes to property related laws, especially if you see the Hindu system, what has been given in Manusmriti is the property will be passed on to son, okay, and nothing is given to daughter, especially something in terms of Stridan that is given during the time of marriage. But again, passed on to son, which son, what percentage, nothing is clear, right? But when it comes to Islam, everything is very crystal clear. Like elder son will get this much, younger son will get this much, the daughter will get this much. It depends on the size of the family, and everything is very, very clear. So again, if you look for marriage rules with respect to these two religions, in Hinduism, if you see, this is something which is very religious and very divine, and like it is considered a sacrosanct. So divorce is not allowed, right? And that's the reason why when the husband has died, the widow is committing suicide by jumping into the funeral pyre of the husband, the sati. So, and then widow remarriage was not allowed. So all those things was there when it comes to Hindu system. But that's not the case with Islam. Divorce is there, not only for male, it is given for female also. So the triple talaq thing, which is the instrument through which a male can seek divorce from female, but at the same time, opposite of triple talaq, which is hardly discussed in public, which is khul. Khul is the opposite of triple talaq, where a female can seek divorce from the male if she is not satisfied with the husband. Okay, so my point here is the laws are different, so it is very, very difficult for them, for the administration. So if you need to have a very good administrative setup here, you need to have a very good control over the legal system. Similarly, when it comes to revenue system, they are coming from England. Their revenue is mostly from industries and that kind of revenue. But when it comes to India, the main source of revenue is land revenue. We discussed before also when we discussed about Mansabdari system. So if it is land revenue, Mughals had their own system. That system we have discussed, and the problem also we have discussed. So they had their own system, and we have seen Lagan and everything. But when it comes to British, they never had any idea about the way you are going to collect revenue. So from whom you will collect revenue? Because if you see in India, there is landowner, and the person who cultivate on the land may be different. So from whom you will cultivate? From the owner or the zamindar, or from the peasant who is the actual cultivator. So from whom you will collect revenue? How much to be collected as revenue? Like 1/2, 1/3, 2/3, 3/4. What? How much to be collected as revenue? Right? Who will collect revenue? Should we appoint a person to collect revenue, or should we ask the zamindar to collect revenue? So who will collect revenue? When to collect revenue? Is it before the sowing or after the cult? All these are big issues for them. So they have no clarity with respect to revenue collection. So what can be done in this situation? The only way in which you can solve these problems is to study India. So guys, to study India as the solution now. Now this time there is a new branch of knowledge which comes. That is what popularly known as Indology. Indology literally means study of India. So how are you going to study India? You're going to refer to the archaeological excavations. You're going to refer to the religious textbooks. You're going to refer to the writings of the kings, the travelogues of the kings, and all the religious documents, etc. And then they are going to learn India's culture, customs, and practices, and everything. The legal system, the revenue system, everything. So this is what Indology. So Indology, study of India, referring to ethnographies or the books. Okay, so this is actually a bookish view. You will study caste system, you will study villages, you will study family system, you will study revenue system, you will study legal system and everything by referring to the books. Okay, so this is a new branch of knowledge. And if you look into the Indologist, initial Indologist, there are two types of initial Indologist. Obviously, British administrators. So what is their goal? Their goal is for administrative purpose. They want to study for administrative purpose. So what they will do, they will highlight the bad aspect of Indian culture, like the traditional society, like the or very much orthodox society. So that is what they're going to highlight. And they obviously want to tell that their role in India is basically to modernize India or to civilize India. So they will only highlight the bad aspects because they want to justify their rule in India. So that's exactly what you will see in the writings or understanding of the British administrators. On the other hand, some British scholars, they don't have such vested interest. They have some interest purpose. They are studying India, and they have appreciated the glorious past and civilization of Indian culture. So you can see here two sides: British administrators, British scholars. Both are British. So there is a very famous saying that the Britishers came to India and they taught us who we were and everything, right? So in fact, this is from where we started knowing who we are and all those things, right? So this is how the study of India actually started. So a new branch of knowledge emerged, that is Indology. So guys, here some prelims questions can be asked, like you can expect a question. These questions are asked before also. In 1776, there was a translation which has happened. That is, Manusmriti was translated. Okay, so that was Jendu Code. What is Jendu Code or Code of Jendu Laws? Code of Jendu Laws is the translation of Manusmriti. And then in 1781, a madrasa was established at Calcutta, which is known as Calcutta Madrasa. So you can see here, first one is for Hindus to learn the Hindu system laws, and this is for Muslims, okay, Islamic laws. So this question was asked in 2017 itself. And then in 1784, which is again very important, Asiatic Society of Bengal. Asiatic Society of Bengal was established at Calcutta by William John. So what is the objective of Asiatic Society of Bengal? To promote Indology or to promote Oriental studies. Oriental studies means study of East and study of Eastern countries, Eastern societies and their culture and the customs, etc. And more specific to India. So that is what it is, to promote Indology. That is what Asiatic Society of Bengal. Who? By William John. So these are potential prelims questions which you need to remember, which all happened during Warren Hastings' time. Okay, so this is a very important point. 1 minute, guys. Yeah. Now we need to discuss few other points also, because these are some experiments which has been done, And now something happened in revenue side. Okay, so we will be discussing about zamindari settlement during Cornwallis time. But before that, a similar kind of setup was tried and experimented, and it was a failure, and it has been modified into zamindari settlement or permanent settlement during Cornwallis time. That was a kind of success for British to an extent compared to this. Okay, and all happened because of the failure which has happened during Warren Hastings time. So this settlement was for 5 years. This is also known as quinquennial settlement. It's like this only. You want to collect revenue, so you will be depending on a zamindar. So how you will get the zamindarship? So you will, go for an advertisement that we are looking for zamindars to collect revenue. So the aspiring zamindars will come because they will get a lot of power. That time police reform was not implemented. So this law and order, the policing power is also with the zamindars. So the zamindars will come, and this was given on the basis of the highest bidding. So whoever caught the maximum amount will get the zamindarship. So guys, this is a land. Suppose you are able to get, let's say, 1 lakh. Okay, this is the maximum revenue you can collect. But what the zamindars will do is he will tell that I'll be giving you 5 lakh. 1 year, 5 year, you can give one. It's a 5-year tenure. Okay, 1 lakh. You can collect maximum 1 lakh. You will promise you will give 5 lakh. So the state will give the zamindarship to this person, and the state is expecting 5 lakh over the next 5 years. And this agreement is for 5 years. So if you're not paying after 5 years, you will be evicted, you will be changed, and new zamindar will be given. Otherwise, nothing else is there. So what will happen is this 5 year he will enjoy, and he will collect this 1 lakh. He promised 5 lakh, state expecting 5 lakh, state make plans based on that, but state never get 5 lakh. So you pay 5 lakh, you can retain the zamindarship. Whatever you collected, let's say 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, whatever you pay, you will lose it. So if you have 1 lakh in your hand, what you will do? You will say that I got collected only 10,000 or something like that. You pay to the state, keep rest of the 90,000 with you only. Because anyway, you're going to lose the zamindarship. That's what the maximum that is going to happen also. So the state is getting nothing. State expecting this much, state is getting nothing. So here the problem, what is the root cause? Firstly, this 5-year tenure is a bigger problem. Secondly, you are allowing the zamindars to make commitment. You are not fixing, your side not fixing anything. So what have happened is after this 5 year, this has been changed to 1 year. That means every 1 year you keep on going for auction, but this bidding process continued. The actual problem is the bidding process that have not been changed, because the zamindar is quoting the highest amount during the bidding process, and that has been continued. So even after changing to 1 year, this was a problem. Only thing is that after 1 year you can change the zamindar, but the same story, same thing continued. The zamindars will come, quote the highest amount during bidding, they will not be able to pay, they collect whatever they can, and the state won't get anything, and the zamindar will be evicted after 1 year. So earlier it was 5 year, now it is 1 year. That's the only difference. But the root cause has not changed, right? Root cause is the bidding process. And the problem is the state is not fixing anything. State allowing the zamindars to fix. So this will be changed or solved in the permanent settlement, where the state will fix the revenue. And the state will fix the revenue on the basis of the revenue paid on 1990. 1990 is the base year, and based on that, the state will fix the revenue. So this problem will be solved in the permanent settlement during Cornwallis time that I'll be discussing later. So I hope this settlement is clear. This is the 5-year settlement or the quinquennial settlement, which was a failure. The reason also is very, very clear. So these are things which we need to discuss mainly under Warren Hastings. So I hope you understood why Warren Hastings period in history is known as trial and error period. You can talk about the situation. You can talk about the decision making through the regulating act, right? So that was a big problem. The 4 members are always against Warren Hastings. Now, if we need to discuss about the pits in the act, that also I'll discuss. But before that, one more fact. Warren Hastings was the only Governor General who was accused of a murder case. There was a Bengali trader whose name was Nanda Kumar. He accused Warren Hastings in a corruption charge. And later, on a fabricated case, this person was arrested and hanged also. And in that, Warren Hastings was tried for a murder case, but lack of evidence and everything, he got scot-free. Okay, so that was just an interesting fact. One Governor General who was tried for a murder case. So now let me go with that PDF where I'll discuss about the PITS India Act. Okay. So if you look for the PITS India Act, guys, what was the main problem with the previous one? The problem, as I've told you, there is a Governor General plus 4 members. So the decisions has to be taken on the basis of majority, which is 3 out of 5. Now in PITS India Act, what is actually going to happen is this 4 will be reduced to 3. So the problem is going to be solved. How? I'll tell you. Now remember, there is a decrease now, then there is going to be an increase in 1833, then there will be further increase. So you need to know what is the reason why it is getting increased and decreased. So here there is a decrease. So this 4 becomes 3. That means the Executive Council is reduced to 3. So what will happen is decision again based on majority only. Now there are total 4. Majority means what? 3 out of 4. 2 out of 4 is equality. 3 out of 4 is majority. So which one is easy to get? 3 out of 5 is easy to get. Now how the problem is going to be solved? Problem is going to be solved is like this. In case if there is equality like 2 out of 4, then Governor General will have a casting vote. It's not veto. Veto is different. Veto means if Governor General say it doesn't matter whoever is saying anything else, the decision will be implemented. That is veto. This is casting vote, that like the speakers and everything will do, right? If there is an equality, casting vote will be there. So here, Governor General need the support of only 1 person out of 3. That means there is Governor General, plus you get the support of 1. So this become 2. And there is other 2. So total 4. Now this is equality, right? 2 and 2. So already Governor General voted. It's not Governor General vote only towards the end. That's not the case. He can vote first. That is his decision. And then he get the support of 1. So equality. Now he have another vote, casting vote. That means effectively Governor General will have 2 votes. So this problem is solved. How? Because now you need the support of only 1 person. If you need to implement any decision, just support of 1 person. If you're not getting support of anyone, then what is the point in doing that? That is a question here. So this is becoming more easy for the Governor General now. Just get the support of 1 person, then you have the power of casting vote, you can implement the decision. So otherwise there is no change. 4 member was reduced to 3. Decisions taken on the basis of majority. Appointment remained the same. Governor General appointed by the company. 3 members appointed by the Crown. Same only. Now, you can see regulation keep on increasing. They are going to establish a board of control sitting in England with 6 members. Okay, so there will be a board of control with 6 members sitting in England, regulate the affairs of East India Company in India. So the Executive Council sitting in India along with Governor General regulate the affairs of Governor General and the company. Board of control with 6 members sitting in England and going to regulate the affairs. So regulation is there, regulation is here. Okay, so board of control is going to be established. Now you can see later after 1857, once the Crown took control, this board of control is not required because you don't want to regulate East India Company, so it will be abolished. Instead, you will see later, Indian Council Office will be set up instead of board of control. Okay, so board of control was established with 6 members sitting in England, regulating the affairs of East India Company in India. And I hope you know about Wood's dispatch and everything. The last president of board of control was Charles Wood. He have written a letter to the then Governor General Dalhousie related to certain reforms in education. And that was actually Wood's dispatch. So the last president of board of control was Charles Wood. Okay, and the first Secretary of State, when we discuss after 1857, it's also going to be Charles Wood. So I hope this part is very clear. Now let's look into this. So board of control. Now there is one more point. There is a right to recall. Guys, I've told you the Governor General is appointed by the company. But if the Governor General's actions is not good, is making problems, is corrupt like that, then the Parliament can recall him. That means there is a provision of recall. That's a third one, that if the company or if the Parliament is not satisfied with any of the officials of East India Company, they can recall, including Governor General. Obviously, the other members are appointed by the Crown. They can do that. It is their own appointment only. But including Governor General, who was appointed by the company, who was the head of the company. Correct? So that 3 points is written here. You can just read that. 3 points I'll repeat. Governor General of Bengal plus 4 now became Governor General plus Bengal. Governor General of Bengal plus 3. Then a board of control is established. There is a right to recall. Okay. So this is what Pigs India Act of 1784. And I'm sure you understood how the problem was going to be solved. Earlier, 4, getting majority was difficult. Now 3, getting majority is easy because you just need the support of 1. Then there is a casting vote also. So that's about Warren Hastings, guys. That's about the beginning of British administration. In the next session, we'll talk about Cornwallis and we'll go further. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are watching this at this time now, so far, if you have come with me means, I hope you like the video. So give me a thumbs up and then give a comment also. Okay, subscribe the channel as well, guys. See you soon.